In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. This video's learning objectives include an insight into the structure of G-protein coupled receptors, abbreviated as GPCRs, and their associated G-proteins, with focus on the signal transduction pathways involving G-alpha stimulatory and G-alpha inhibitory subunits and their biochemical correlations. So, let's have an introduction about the players involved in this signal transduction pathway. The G protein coupled receptors have 7 membrane spanning domains, with the ligand binding domain projecting outwards and the cytoplasmic domain projecting inwards. This cytoplasmic domain interacts with the coupled G proteins. G proteins are small GTPases with alpha, beta, and gamma subunits and ability to hydrolyze GTP to GDP. They are active when bound to GTP and inactive when bound to GDP. They are activated by GPCRs. So, GPCRs are activated by hormones or neurotransmitters. Activated GPCRs in turn activate coupled G proteins. The G alpha subunit may be stimulatory, represented by subscript S, or inhibitory, which is represented by a subscript I. GS subunits activate adenylyl cyclase and GI subunits cause deactivation of the adenylyl cyclase. Whereas GQ is activated by phospholipase, whereas GQ activates phospholipase C via different signal transduction pathway. In this video, only GS and GI are under consideration. Adenylyl cyclase is a membrane-bound enzyme present close to GPCRs. When activated, it converts ATP to cyclic AMP. The cyclic AMP in turn serves as a second messenger. When a hormone or neurotransmitter binds G protein coupled receptors, there is a conformational change in the receptor due to which it is able to interact with the nearby G protein. As a result, the G protein becomes active. It releases GDP and binds GTP. The alpha subunit of the coupled G protein now dissociates from the beta and gamma subunits. The active alpha subunit moves to adenylyl cyclase and activates it. The activated adenylyl cyclase converts ATP to cyclic AMP with release of pyrophosphate. Cyclic AMP is the second messenger. It activates cyclic AMP dependent protein kinase A, also known as pKa. The activation of pKa involves cyclic AMP binding to its regulatory or R subunits. This leads to release of catalytic or C subunits. Freed C subunits of pKa are active. pKa phosphorylates its protein substrates, many of which are enzymes. Phosphate is added to serine or threonine residues in these enzymes. Phosphorylation regulates the activity of proteins and enzymes. When hormone is no longer present, the receptor goes back to its resting state. At the end of signal transduction, the GTP is hydrolyzed to GDP by GTPase of G protein. Adenylyl cyclase is inactivated and alpha subunit reassociates with beta and gamma subunits. Cyclic AMP is converted to 5' AMP. Finally, the enzyme phosphodiesterase converts cyclic AMP to 5' AMP so that the amount of cyclic AMP in the cell remains low. Signal amplification by second messengers often involves enzymes that catalytically activate downstream signaling proteins, many of which are enzymes. In the example shown here, receptor activation stimulates adenylyl cyclase activity. This generates cyclic AMP. Cyclic AMP in turn activates protein kinase A, which activates phosphorylase kinase, which further activates glycogen phosphorylase that catalyzes the cleavage reaction that releases glucose 1-phosphate from free ends of the glycogen polymer. The overall result is availability of quick energy. Besides its immediate effects like breakdown of glycogen to provide energy, glucagon may also affect gene transcription through GPCRs. When it binds G protein coupled receptors, the extracellular signal is then transduced to intracellular cyclic AMP, which can affect protein expression and activity through protein kinase A mediated phosphorylation in response to rise in cyclic AMP. A cyclic AMP response element binding protein or CREB binds to a regulatory sequence of DNA, the cyclic AMP response element or CRE in its promoter region. The genes for phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase and glucose 6-phosphatase, which are key enzymes of gluconeogenesis, are examples of genes upregulated by cyclic AMP CREB system. Now coming to biochemical correlations, people consume tea or coffee to become alert because the methylxanthine derivatives in caffeine, besides inhibiting adenosine receptors and calcium mobilization, inhibit phosphodiesterase, which may lead to a buildup of cyclic AMP in cells for a longer interval. This leads to lipolysis and increased availability of substrates for energy generation. Let's solve this problem. Which neurotransmitters will be released when you are hungry? Well, glucagon will stimulate cyclic AMP production through G-alpha stimulatory signaling, but it is unlikely that epinephrine will be released. In contrast, when you step on a snake, acute stress stimulates norepinephrine signaling through both beta 2 and alpha 1 receptors, leading to increased intracellular levels of second messengers, cyclic AMP, DAG, IP3, and calcium. Now, this problem involves use of caffeine, and the enzyme inhibited by methylxanthine derivatives in caffeine is phosphodiesterase. This mountaineer is likely to be in a state of prolonged fasting, and gluconeogenesis is likely to be active in him. Glucagon will act through GPCRs to phosphorylate and activate cyclic AMP response element binding protein, which will bind to cyclic AMP response element CRE promoter region and increase expression of genes for gluconeogenesis enzymes. Bordetella pertussis is a bacterium that infects the respiratory tract and causes whooping cough. The pertussis toxin is produced by this bacteria. It inhibits G-alpha inhibitory subunit so that it cannot deactivate adenylyl cyclase. Adenylyl cyclase remains active indefinitely, producing excess cyclic AMP, leading to excess mucus production in the respiratory tract. Cholera toxin is produced by Vibrio cholera when they infect the intestinal epithelial cells. The toxin modifies G-alpha stimulatory subunit so that it cannot hydrolyze GTP and adenylyl cyclase remains indefinitely active. In these intestinal epithelial cells, the chondrotoxin A subunit was absorbed into the intestinal mucosal cells. This toxin is an enzyme. It cleaves NAD and transfers its ADP ribose portion to G alpha stimulatory subunit. This results in inhibition of the GTPase activity of this subunit. As a consequence, the G proteins remain actively bound to adenylyl cyclase, resulting in increased production of cyclic AMP, which activates CTFR channel, resulting in continuous secretion of sodium and chloride into the intestinal lumen, leading to diarrhea and vomiting.